Hey Ottawa, this is your Monday market snapshot for the Ottawa real estate market for Monday, January 8th, 2024. My name is Annalie Rice. I'm a realtor here in Ottawa, Ontario, and every week I bring you the details on what's going on in the Ottawa real estate market. Okay, so first off, let's look citywide. We can see that the active listings again dropped last week. I'm a little bit surprised by this. I thought a lot more listings might come on in that first week of January, but it was still holiday week and most kids were off school and such. So perhaps people were holding off until this week coming. So we had a drop of active listings by a little over 100, and the sales did bounce back by 20, so up at 73 sales over the last week. This is the chart form for this. It shows us the total inventory in black, the active inventory in green, conditional sales in orange, and firm sales in red. We can see that both the conditional sales and firm sales did go up this week. And we see the drop off in both the overall inventory and active inventory this week. One thing I wanted to point out here is if you look back to the first dot of the whole chart, that was January 2023, which was January 2nd was the first dot. So that's sort of equivalent to what last week's dot was. But we see that the inventory was very steady through all of January, all the way to March, actually, and it fluctuated between 1336 and 1380 for the number of active listings during the first 2 months of 2023. Today we sit at 1,369. So we are exactly at the same point as we were last year for active inventory. The sales are about the same, about the 50 mark during the holidays, but they did jump up and start climbing through the first 2 months there of 2023. I guess we'll see whether or not the inventory levels are going to bounce back up, which I do expect a little bit of a bounce up this week, and we'll see how the sales go this year. Okay, so new listings. There were 157 properties that were listed this week. 76% of those, or 48%, were relisted properties, and 81, or 52%, were new to the market this week. The proportion of relisted properties wasn't surprising to me. I did look into them, and it kind of comes down to a few different things. First, it's a new month, so sometimes properties expire at the end of December and then they get relisted in the first week. So part of that, a lot of it might have been to do with properties being taken off during the holidays. So families not wanting to have people coming through their house during the holidays when they're home. And then of course, most of them are properties just being canceled and relisted within a day or so, just to refresh that list date and make it look like it's a new listing. Okay, for sales this week, we had 18% of the homes that sold this week sold without a conditional period, and the 4-week average sits at 12. As you noticed, last week we were at 0. Everything had conditions, so that's going to pull down the average for a few weeks. We had 1% of the sales that happened this week sold within 7 days. That was 2 sales, and of those 2 sales, 1 had conditions and 1 did not. So that was 50% with no conditions. And we were sitting at 21% of the homes selling within 30 days. And that is obviously on the low side, and I expect that to stay fairly low for the until the listings start coming out more, and then sales start happening quicker. Then obviously that'll go back up. But right now it's probably at the bottom. Okay, let's zoom in and see what's happened across the different regions of the city. First off, let's look central urban region, which is inside the Greenbelt. We can see that the active listings dropped across property types, but sales were up across property types. In Canada and Stittsville, a drop in the number of detached homes on the market, but a slight increase for towns and condos, and sales were slightly up across property types. Barrhaven, Riverside South, slight decrease in the active listings across property types, and also a slight decrease in the sales across property types. And in Orleans, sort of a mixed bag there. We've got a drop in the detached, steady for towns and slightly up for condos. And the sales were steady for detached and condos and down slightly for townhomes. As always, I've got the full data, including the days on market, so cumulative days on market for active properties and days on market, cumulative days on market for the sold properties and for the townhomes and for condos. I did notice that a few of the days on market are starting to drop, and I do expect that the days on market will start to drop as obviously new listings come on the market and pull down that average. Okay, so I'm still waiting for the Ottawa Real Estate Board monthly stats. So unfortunately, I couldn't include that this week, but I did update again just to bring it up to the 7th of January stats for the average month-to-month average sale price. So we see that the detached was steady from November to December. Semi-detached climbed, as did both condo segments, and the freehold townhomes average sale price did drop. Okay, so here is the updated charts for all the different data. We've got the close price to the original list price ratio. I did cut out 2022 from this, so now this is just 2023, and then I'll add to this as we go on through 2024. We can see that they're all below 100%. That doesn't mean that every house is going to sell below what the list price is. There are houses that sell above, but on average, the detached market is selling quite a fair bit below the original list price. And so it's at 95.6. Townhomes are a little closer up at 97.1 and peaked obviously in May at 100% there. And condominiums are at 97.3. The average days to sell, you can see this is for all of 2023. So right now, December 2023, we're sitting at 47 days for detached homes, and that's up slightly from what we were in January of 2023. And average days to sell for townhomes sitting at 42, which is at a highest point it's been at in the last year. And condos are a little bit lower at 38 days average to sell, which is, lower than it was last winter. Okay, I also updated this, so the monthly sales for the last 10 years, and it's really hard to see because you can see the black line is obviously above a few of the other ones, but I looked at the actual numbers, and it actually was the 5th lowest sales in the last, 11 years that these lines are tracked. There's obviously a bunch of them that are all very, very similar, but the December sales were actually higher than 4 other years from the last 11 years, from 2013. The months of inventory, we can see that in all 3 property types there, the months of inventory did drop for December, and condos was the peak there in November, but both towns and detached were a little bit lower in November, and then obviously lower in December as well. And this is not due to sales sales stayed about the same, but the inventory dropped off for the last 2-3 months of the year. So the peak inventory was sort of at the end of October. And so as the inventory dropped off, the months of inventory also drops. Okay, so I'm sharing this chart again, just as I always do, just to share that, by definition, the seller's market is anything less than 4 months. And here we are solidly sitting below that, not a lot. And because these are full city averages of all properties, all neighborhoods, clearly there will be some neighborhoods that are in buyer's market territory are much more balanced. I would say a lot of the city is probably feeling a lot more balanced, but there are areas and certain housing types in certain areas that will almost always be in a seller's market. Okay, so that was the update for this week. We can see that the sales picking up, the inventory's down, but I fully expect that that's going to rebound this week. We're going to have a lot of properties coming to the market this week, and it may be closer to the end of the month or into February, but I think a lot of the inventory that came off over the latter few months of 2023 will come back on, hoping to see where the spring market goes. Now we'll have to look at the interest rates and such to see if the buyers also return to actually buy that property in the inventory. But it looks like hopefully promising spring market for 2023. And I hope you have a fantastic first week back at work if you are off for the full 2 weeks of holidays, kids back at school, and enjoy the snow that we finally received. Have a great week.